Extreme heat is creating extreme dangers for tri-state firefighters. WGEM's Raja Maples shows us the challenges volunteer fire departments are facing to keep you safe. Raja?
That's right. Most smaller tri-state communities rely on volunteer firefighters to fight fires. And as it turns out, not only flames, they aren't the only battles they face this time of year. Blazing house fires can happen in the blink of an eye with no warning. And excessive heat creates another obstacle to overcome this time of year.
These extreme heat conditions, obviously the heat is a main factor. These guys are loaded full of equipment, gear, it weighs them down. It's an extra heat factor that makes them overheat.
City Administrator John Roach has experienced that discomfort firsthand.
Oh, those uniforms make it extra hot. You wouldn't even realize it, but in a 100-degree day, it's probably 150 in them coats.
Which is why volunteer firefighters sometimes rely on other Good Samaritans during times of need. Good Samaritans such as Gina Sellers, who answered the call of duty last week by providing much-needed cold drinking water and ice to volunteer firefighters.
I would ask people just to reach out and start giving to the fire department, help give them donations and helping them. And, it takes a community and not just one person to do something.
Sellers and Roach say volunteer fire departments could always use donations of bottled water, Gatorade, and ice to help keep firefighters hydrated.
I just know that the heat really affects the fire departments out there, whether it's a house fire or brush fire, it doesn't matter, and everybody needs to stay hydrated.
Great advice. And by the way, volunteers are always needed for small fire departments throughout the tri-states. Training is provided. Daniel.
All right, thanks, Raja. By the way, many volunteer fire departments throughout the country and region are also struggling to recruit and retain firefighters, which is leading to a shortage in some areas.